Hello friends, this is Nazmijan. In this video, I'm gonna show you play the game between the World Champion Magnus Carlsen and very experienced Grandmaster, author of many very well-known books and chess coach Aleksader Beliavsky. In this game, Carlsen uses the pin in a very nice way that he beats his experienced opponent in 20 moves. Okay, let's go to the game. This game was played in Wijk Aan Zee tournament in 2006. Carlsen goes for e4 move, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop b5, the Ruy Lopez opening. Nowadays, grandmasters generally prefer the move knight f6, going to Berlin defense, try to go the endgame. As we know, after castles, knight takes e4, d4, knight d6, bishop takes c6, d takes c6, d takes e5, knight f5, queen takes d8, king takes d8, and this is just the beginning of the many theoretical battles. But in this game, Aleksader Beliavsky opts for the main line with a6. Bishop a4. Of course, it's not possible to take on the central pawn by playing knight e5 because black has two adequate answers, queen d4 and queen g5 moves, regaining the pawn. So bishop a4 is the main move, knight f6 and castles. As we all know, the famous championship match in 1995, Anand prefers the open Spanish variation by playing knight e4, and those games are still very nice to watch. They go like this, and this is the starting position of their battles. But in this game, Aleksader Beliavsky goes for the little played line by playing b5, bishop b3 and bishop b7. This line is known as Arkhangelsk variation and generally followed by the move bishop c5. And generally white players tend to restrict the bishop immediately by playing d3 as Magnus Carlsen did, but also it's possible to play like Italian and in classical Ruy Lopez style by playing c3 and later on trying to prepare d4 move. And as we already know, Wilhelm Steinitz develops the b1 knight in this fashion. After d3, bishop c5, and it's still possible to play the move c3 in order to gain an escape square for the bishop, and also trying to use this knight in another way as we already mentioned. Oops, sorry. But in this game, Carlsen chooses to play knight c3, more active square for the knight, and it can also go to g3 square in other way, knight d2, as happened in the game. And black plays d6. This move not only strengthens the center, the e5 point by playing d6, and it's also preparing a positional threat of playing knight a5, gaining this strong bishop on b3. So generally Grandmaster doesn't allow this exchange. So Magnus Carlsen play a4 move in order to create an escape square on a2 and attack the opponent's queenside pawn chain. Knight a5, bishop a2, and b4. As we expected, Carlsen's knight goes the same direction to g3 square by knight e2. And probably around this point, black player Aleksader Beliavsky should castle, but he delays it, and very bad consequences after that arises. He plays bishop c8, understandable move. As I already mentioned, the main enemy for this bishop is the pawn chain, and if possible, you should relocate your bishops to more active diagonals without pawn chains. So in this case, he wants to place his bishop in order to meet this a2 bishop on e6 square. c3 in order to get rid of this pawn and trying to prepare the central expansion with d4. b takes c3, b takes c3, bishop b6 in order to not to get disturbed by this pawn. Bishop b6, knight g3, and probably this is the last critical moment for black to castle, and it will be already too late to castle later on. And Aleksader Beliavsky plays the aforementioned idea bishop e6, but after d4, now white has serious threats of destroying black's center, and also, as we'll see in the game, very strong positional threat of bishop g5 created. And it's hard to see why this move is so strong, but we will see later on. And probably this is the last critical moment to castle, but Aleksader Beliavsky took on a2 and castles. And as you'll see, bishop g5 move comes with great strength that it's almost impossible to get rid of this very annoying pin here. Let's say normally you can say that h6 move does the job by avoiding the pin, but Carlsen would probably play bishop h4 and still asking for black how to deal with this situation. It looks tempting to play g5, but after knight takes g5, it's easily observed that there are no pieces on the king side protect the king, and more importantly, knight h5 threat is impossible to meet, and the game is over. But Beliavsky saw this trap and played e takes d4, but as we know that white is not forced to capture here, and he can continue exploiting the pin on h4 d8 diagonal, and Carlsen does so by playing knight h5. It's already a very awkward situation because black pieces on queen side cannot help to solve this pin problem, and white forces are ready to join the attack. So he tries to grab material. Beliavsky understandably grabs material, but after knight h4, it's very interesting to see that with queen inside, white's attack is already more than decisive. It's already over here. And after king h8, poor Beliavsky couldn't find any move but king h8, and after knight f5, white even doesn't want to take the pinned piece because generally, as Nimzowicz pointed out, that threat is stronger than its execution, and this threat is still there, this pin is still there, and white simply wants to take on g7 and finish the game off. So Aleksader Beliavsky resigned here. It's a very nice achievement for Magnus Carlsen in 2006 to beat such an experienced grandmaster like Aleksader Beliavsky using this kind of motifs like pins in this game. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.